There's a mobile phone scam affecting people all over the country. Rebecca Swift wanted to do something nice for her son's birthday, but it soon turned sour.
Well, my son was coming up to his 17th birthday, so I took him along to the car phone warehouse and bought him an iPhone and paid for some insurance. A few hours later, his new phone rang, and it was from some people who led him to believe they were the car phone warehouse. And he came into the kitchen and said they were offering a cheaper insurance deal, and we thought that was great. I let him give out my debit card details over the phone, and we thought nothing more of it. He received a text some while later from the car phone warehouse warning him there was an insurance scam going round, and by that stage the money had already gone out of my account and we'd been scammed.
And Rebecca and her son aren't alone. There are a number of companies doing exactly the same thing. Many of those are based in Swansea. Trading standards there say it's been a problem for the past 18 months.
We're concerned about it because we've had hundreds of complaints from all over the United Kingdom. As a result of our analysis of those complaints, we're using our statutory powers to investigate more than 10 companies in order that we can have an appropriate effect on this scam.
New phone numbers are issued in blocks, and it's thought that the scammers buy themselves a phone, call all the numbers on either side of their own until they get hold of someone. And it's a problem for several of the network providers. But because O2 is the largest and also the only operator behind the new iPhone, it's been a particular headache for them. And the consumer forums on the O2 website are full of people who've been caught out by it.
We're taking up to 100 calls a month from customers who've been cold called by companies passing themselves off as O2. We're not the only network, but we've seen some of those customers tricked into signing up to packages that they weren't expecting, like insurance deals, for example. It has no place in the industry. We've taken legal action against 4 firms and will take legal action again.
Vodafone has also had complaints in the past, as has the retailer Phones for You. Carphone Warehouse flags up the problem in the paperwork they give out to people at the point of sale. It's on page 19 of 20. So how can you avoid paying money for nothing?
If you receive a cold call, it's very important not to provide your bank details over the phone. Ask for details of the offer to be provided in writing so that you can take some time at home to consider whether it's right for you. And it may also be worth looking at your household insurance policy to see whether or not you're already protected.
It's difficult to stop these companies from setting up and operating, but if you can avoid giving out sensitive information over the phone, hopefully you won't end up shortchanged like Rebecca. Samantha Washington, BBC News.
Yes, we're going to investigate some of those issues now with Kerry Stanaway from Which magazine, here with some more advice. Kerry, there's a couple of issues about this. We won't go through the sort of detail of the scam itself. We know a lot of people are affected by this. But is one of the mistakes people make in the first place to even bother with insurance?
Well, that is a very good question. There is a lot of debate about whether mobile phone insurance is even worth it in the first place, so let alone whether you're being called about it from a scam artist. Maybe you shouldn't even have the mobile phone insurance in the first place.
Why not have insurance? I mean,
well, quite often you get a new handset, it's worth, say, £100, £200. You're paying, I don't know, up to maybe £10 a month for the insurance. If you need to claim on the insurance, quite often there's an excess of £20 plus. You might end up paying more for the insurance over the life of your contract than it would cost you to replace the new handset.
It must be quite hard, though, if you have just bought a phone, it's all shiny and new, and you have spent quite a lot of money on it, and then someone calls you on it and says, you don't appear to have bought insurance, I can give you a very good deal now. Quite hard to resist that sort of approach.
Absolutely. I mean, scammers can be very clever. They play on your insecurities, and quite often it'll seem that they're genuine, it'll seem that they're legitimate, possibly calling from the company that you bought the phone from. Which advice is always be suspicious. If someone calls you with what seems to be a deal that's too good to be true, it probably is. You should never give out your financial details.
I think that's a terrible... I understand the thing about the financial details, but I always think it's very unfair to say to people, if a deal is too good to be true, then it can't be true, because there are plenty of legitimate deals that people want to take advantage of in the current market, aren't there?
That's very true, and there are lots of them around. If you're cold called, if you're not expecting the call, then it seems too good to be true, it's less likely to be legitimate. If it is, call the company back. If they're a legitimate company, they'll be perfectly happy for you to do that. Ask for confirmation of the deal in writing. If they're legitimate, they won't have a problem with that.
Is there a kind of rule of thumb figure? I mean, if someone's calling you and you've got a phone and they quote you a figure relative to the value of your phone. I mean, how can you work out whether you're being offered a good deal? I mean, you know, quite a few people are talking about £100. They've been offered sort of insurance for £100 for their phone. Well, what do you have to do? In your head, do you have to think, well, my phone cost me £200, so that works out quite well? Or, I mean, is there any logic to that?
It is hard to know. It's hard to put a figure on it. I mean, the best thing you can do is not agree to the deal there and then. Go and compare it to other insurance deals that are out there. See if it seems like a good deal. If it is a good deal and if it's legitimate, call them back. If it compares well to the rest of the market, you can always go and get it later. Don't feel pressured to buy it there.